Episode 43 of the Geek Week in review, and this week we have got tons to talk about, from MoonKnight to Thor, so stay tuned.
The Geek Week in review.
Hello and welcome back to the Geek Week in review with me, Jacob's Toys, of course, the wonderful one and only SuperSorrell, and RyanSpeaksGeek. If you're watching on YouTube, then please do like, share, subscribe, and all of those things. If you're listening on podcast, then do continue to download and share and all of those things. It's very much appreciated. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, then you can obviously give the Geek Week in review a follow there. And do check the description for the guys' details and give them a follow if you don't already do so. I tried to mix it up a little bit to throw you off there, Ryan. But...
yeah, I like it. Sure, there was a couple bits, so I'll just do the European dubbing thing and just keep going.
Amazing,
well,
amazing.
Japanese films,
But what a week! What a week for a bit of everything, really. There's been quite a lot going on. Where should we start? Where do we even start with this?
Can we start on the lowest note, possibly?
Go on then. What do you class as the lowest note? All right, let's start how we mean to go on. I haven't been. I'm going to hands up. I'm going to wait for the DVD. I just haven't got the time.
I'm not going to do a spoilery review or anything, but I will say, while it is not the strongest Marvel film, it's not the best one, I do not think it's this like 2 out of 10 stars that everyone's been giving it. I don't really understand. It's a 5 to 6 sort of film. Kind of if you watched it and you'd kind of go, oh yeah, it was all right. Like it was all right. I don't think it was like this tragic catastrophe that apparently was close to The Room by Tommy Wiseau, by what everyone's describing it as. I'm waiting. It's a bit of a Solo kind of story where everyone kind of goes, it's been had reshoot, it's been delayed, it's awful, blah blah blah, and it's not actually bad at all.
Shall I tell you?
It's all right.
Shall I tell you its problem? I'll tell you the problem it's got, right? Is that it's not an MCU film being released in a really hype time for MCU films, when you've got like No Way Home, you've got Thor Love and Thunder, you've got Multiverse of Madness, you've got all these really highly anticipated MCU films that all flow and all follow the timeline and stuff, and that's not even touching on the TV shows that they're releasing. And it's a non-MCU Marvel film that's got a character that not everybody knows. Let's be perfectly honest with you, he's not like a mainstream character. Most Marvel fans, whether they're casual or really diehard, will know who Morbius is, but most of them, like non-heavy fans, won't know who he is. It's Jared Leto, who is an incredible actor, but seems to just have a really bad touch. Like when you think of things like the Joker, he's had some incredible roles, and personally, I think done him justice in his own way. But it seems that everything he touches, people kind of hate. I just feel really sorry for the guy, because he looks fantastic from the trailers and stuff like that. And then I think that
Matt Evans has stolen the show. Not Matt Evans, Matt Smith has stolen the show, though.
Yeah.
In this one, yeah.
Everything he touches, though, doesn't he? Anything that one touches, he kills.
Yeah.
So having watched it, here's some of the things I sort of picked up on. They didn't fully commit to the darkness of it. They started in some points. You're going to go like at the beginning of the film. There's a couple of jumpy scare bits which actually did make me genuinely jump in the cinema, and it sort of starts going down that road. And you're like, oh, okay, this is really going to be a different Marvel film. And then there are some lulls, and then it sort of feels like it pulls back on that bit of it, and then it sort of almost loses its way a little bit in the middle. I think that's the problem. There's a bit of a lull, even though it's not a particularly long film. There are some bits that feel long, and they shouldn't. But again, I would not call it a disaster. The performances are good. Like Jared Leto's performance is fine. It's not bad. It's not like Troll 2, like he can't do his lines or something, Oh, now I'm a vampire. Oh my God. It's not like that. It's there's some really cool shots in it. One or two a bit too close to a Batman film I've seen in the last few years. But it is actually, I think, an all right film. It falls into the category of like the first couple of Thor films, where I don't think they're awful. They're okay, and I like lots of elements of it. And I would probably, and I will watch them again. I have watched them again. And same as Iron Man 3, I've watched that a few times again. It's all they're all right. And that's what Morbius is. Morbius is all right. I think the problem is they should have probably started with Blade and then gone to something like Morbius.
Yeah, but they're different. They're different studios.
Yeah,
that's one of the problems as well.
I thought Blade was.
No, Blade is MCU, mate.
Oh, right. This is where I get confused. And the Vulture shoe-in is
Blade.
Blade. That was one of the big problems. Sorry, go on.
Blade is the original Marvel Studios film, and I've had this argument with so many people, and I did a whole video on it, and I deleted it, but I'm gonna redo the video. Deleted it by accident. But Blade essentially was the first Marvel Studios film, not the first.
I remember.
MCU
I just had it
film.
in my head that Blade had gone over to Sony. At some point.
No. So he was tied in with New Line Cinema, and they took.
Oh, that
profit.
might be what I'm thinking of then.
So Marvel Studios was tied in. But they basically, out of something stupid like 4 billion profit, Marvel Studios took like 25 grand. It was like nothing. Basically, it was just, you can make the film, put our name on it, we'll just take a cut. But
they just pay for their extension. So,
exactly.
On the house. They're like, oh, yeah,
exactly. But that's the problem with Morbius, is when I think of Morbius as a comic book fan, as a fan of like the animated shows and stuff like that, he's very much, I don't want to say supporting character because that's a bit unfair, but I think of the storyline.
Not something you would
Spider-Man.
think as a launch. He's a spin-off after he's been established.
Yeah, the storyline in the animated Spider-Man with Morbius and the crossover with Blade. So I think of characters like Spider-Man. I think of characters like Blade, that he's almost like the villain on the other side of it. Venom can hold his own film because he's popular. He's popular in pop culture and stuff. Before he had films, people knew who Venom was. He was someone that people like Harley Quinn liked. Yeah, but Morbius isn't that. Morbius isn't Venom, but they've tried to do the same thing, and he's not as popular. And I think that's the shame of it. Whereas I think if he had come in as the villain in Blade, regardless of studios and stuff, if he was the villain in Blade, or if he was like, a character that was kind of built up gradually in the background of something else, I think he would have become a phenomenal character. But I think the shame of it is it's left sour taste in people's mouths. But I'm just pleased that we've got Morbius out there as a film. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing it, but I'm not going to make any special arrangements for it.
I will say one last thing on it before we move on from it, because obviously where you guys haven't seen it. The whole Vulture tie-in bit, that was actually the thing that probably annoyed me most.
Yeah, I bet.
Because it was such a bizarre shoehorn thing that just didn't work. So it's not quite this like when the leak came out, and it's not quite as it describes. But you guys mind me talking about it?
No, go for it.
I've read about it. And
so you got the mid credits bit where he suddenly appears in the jail cell and is like, "Oh, this is interesting. I wonder if the food's better here or something in this joint." And then the next thing, it's like newspaper clips of saying that a man appeared in the prison, and it's got the Loki sky rip or the multiverse sky rip, and just before that, sorry. Anyway, so I have all these news reports, and it's about how he's cleared and now he's a free man. And then it's like the credits again. I'm like, okay, just shoehorned that in. That's weird. And then the actual post-credit bit is Morbius is just driving in a car, and it's not quite the desert, but not far off it, just in the middle of nowhere. And then the Vulture, in his really over-the-top version of his suit, the really Uber-wing version, appears, which I have several questions about how he got all of that in an alternate universe, considering he appeared in the jail cell with just his pajamas. But he was like, "Oh, I've been reading about your stuff, Dr. Morbius. I don't know how I got here. I think it's something to do with Spider-Man. But people like us should stick together." And Morbius is like, "Okay.
Can we just become best friends?"
It was, you know what? It was one step away. But all he had to do was mention bunk beds, and they probably would have done it.
Literally,
I would actually rather have had no post-credit scene, and they just addressed that somewhere else, or even as like a short film on the DVD extra. It just made no sense. It didn't even. This thing, 2 cutscenes that were less than 5 minutes somehow didn't make sense in their own editing and flow. It was so bizarre. So bizarre.
It flies in. It's like, "Hey, Morbius, on the count of 3, what's your favorite dinosaur?"
Yeah.
But no,
Macho Man Randy Savage's signature on the blade of my wing.
But that raises another massive thing, because there was 2 things that I think, or 3 things to do with the post-credit scenes that have annoyed people. And the first one is, like you say, the suit. How did he get the suit there? Because there's 2 ways that this happened. Either the suit came with him, and if that's the case, why did they make it look different? But then how?
It was literally they showed him come in.
Exactly. So he came into prison. So if he's developed the suit in this alternate universe, it was developed using technology from the incident in New York. So that doesn't make sense. The other thing as well is that Morbius isn't part of the Sinister Six, whereas the Vulture is. So if he's kind of building the Sinister Six kind of esque team, Morbius isn't in that, or at least not in any of the kind of mainstream versions of that. But then I think the thing that the studio did that really kind of pissed people off, and I think it's the reason why I'm not going to go and see it in the cinema, is that all the trailers had so much Spider-Man heavy stuff with like Oscorp, with the Vulture, with the Spider-Man graffiti and all that kind of stuff. And then they were all taken out of the film. Now, I'm sure there's a reason for it, but they've taken all of those things. It's almost like kind of, where a product kind of advertises, this is our product, this is what it does, this is, and then they send you a bottle of water and kind of go, oh no, we took all the other stuff out. Let's have some water instead. And it's so, I don't know, but I will see it. I will see it. I do want to see it, but I'm just not going to make any special.
Not a great film, not a bad film. It's a purely okay film, but don't watch the post credits because it will just make you angry. That is one film you should actually just leave after the credit, the first start of the credits.
Fair enough.
I think the main problem is, and I again haven't seen it yet. I think one of the main problems though is most of us were so excited for the idea of Morbius coming into the MCU. Those of us that knew who he is in the first place, because of the whole thing of we can get him involved with Blade, we can get him involved with the Midnight Suns. That's a great. Obviously, we knew MoonKnight was coming. We knew Blade was coming. They were building up to this occult team of heroes. Morbius is a great fit for that, especially with Blade. If they'd built him up just as Blade's villain, that would have been amazing. But they've gone and done this weird thing of swerving to the side, and he's now a part of the Spider-Verse. And
I just don't see it working, this separate universe thing.
No, it's gonna be weird because they're forever going to have that thing of it's not a part of the MCU. There's always going to be that thing in the back of everyone's minds of it's not MCU. To what point?
I think, but that isn't always a problem because you look at like the Defenders on Netflix and stuff like that kind of worked, but I think that's an example of where it does work because they reference the things that were going on, but that was all done way before this multiverse stuff that they come up with. So people were watching it kind of going, oh, well, it is canon, but we're just not seeing anyone, and similar to like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but
I'm still really dubious about how Blade is going to work in the MCU because let's not forget the Blade films we love and remember as kids. They were not kids' movies by a long shot. No. We saw those films when we probably shouldn't have done because things were a little bit lax in the 90s. That's what I'm saying. That film was aimed at horror fans. That film was aimed at people who were into Vampire the Masquerade. It was a dark, dingy 2000s gore fest, and we watched that. And I'm wondering how.
Think of that opening scene, the bloodbath scene. Like that is not Disney. That is not. That's what I'm saying.
I'm really wondering how they're going to use Blade in this Mickey Mouse Marvel setting. That's my thing.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
such a watered down Blade compared to what we're used to.
Yeah, it's going to be a much.
Blade's just going to be like, welcome to Disney Plus After Dark, bitches.
But the thing you got to remember about Blade as well is that the Blade that we got from Wesley Snipes, you're going to send me off on a Blade trip here, but he was not the Blade that was from the comics. He was black. Like they changed the character of Blade. Blade was, he had a London accent. He had a green leather jacket, yellow glasses. He was this totally different character in the comic books than what we got in that film, and they changed the character, and that's one of the reasons why the film works so well, is because instead of them going, this is the character and this is what we need to stick with, they went, right, this is the actor that we're using and this is how we're going to develop it. And they lent into Wesley Snipes's martial arts training and all that kind of stuff, and made this Wesley Snipes version of Blade. I think the shame of it is that when people think of Blade, that's obviously what they have now, and the comic book version, at least the earlier versions of the comic book version, because then in the comic books it kind of changed and it became more like Wesley Snipes' Blade. So there was
the TV show. Did they try and do more comic there? I didn't see that.
No, that was more just kind of a spin-off of what Snipes did.
No, pretending that guy was Snipes. Let's be brutally honest.
Yeah. Let's be honest. But there were other actors that were linked to it. Like LL Cool J was rumored to be Blade before Snipes. Denzel Washington, Lawrence Fishburne. Like there was all these really talented actors that were kind of in the running, and then Wesley Snipes obviously, stole the role. But I think what the Disney version will be
I started looking at my Blade trilogy on the shelf as if it was reverent. And like...
It will be, I think the Disney version will be a kind of a mixture of what we know, but what's in the comic books now. And I think that they'll lean into that kind of, you know, because they do that in the comic books, you know, when the films or the TV shows are particularly, you know, like Nick Fury, for example, they kind of wrote that character around, well, Samuel Jackson wanted him, and, you know, and there was a change, but it was obviously a massive change from the Nick Fury that we had back in the day. And I think that's what they're going to do here, is they're going to take the Wesley Snipes blade that works so well. They're going to take the version of the comic books that kind of developed into that style of blade, because obviously that was very watered down in comparison to those films. And I think they're going to go for that middle ground. But I think that you're right in saying that I think that people are going to kind of critique it because it's not going to be Snipes. It's not going to be the blade that we know. But I think we need to go into it knowing that blade that we had was a change of what we were, you know, if we were expecting a comic book blade when that film came out, we would have been massively disappointed. But not enough people knew about him to make a difference. And I think that's the difference with films like Morbius coming out nowadays, is that the internet is so much more of a thing, and you have things like
more comic knowledge now.
Yeah, we have things like Marvel Unlimited. You know, you see a film coming out, you can literally go on there and for £8 a month, like read the whole back catalogue of a particular character. Do you know what I mean? So
here in the UK as well, if we're very lucky that we have Panini comics, and I'm sure you've noticed that as soon as a film is announced and we know it's coming out or it's coming out soon, like straight away the entire omnibus of Morbius was printed at WH Smith's, and you could pick it up for $9.99. It had literally most of the comic, like the major issues of comics he's ever been in. Yeah. And they did that with Hawkeye. They've done that with anything that comes out. They'll publish like an up-to-date book of these are the stories you need to know. And I love that. I always pick them up. I love them. There's some great editions out there, and they're just for the UK. Like you don't see them anywhere else. They're the UK's, aren't the Panini? They're just for us. Yeah.
Well, I tell you what. While we're on a kind of a TV Marvel kind of kick, let's talk MoonKnight. Let's talk episode 2 of MoonKnight. Now, Ryan Speaks Geek has let everyone down and just not watched it yet. But episode 2 came out. Episode 2 was released, and where do you even start?
Mr. What's his? Oh, I don't remember what they call it. Mr. Knight.
Mr. Knight.
Yeah,
so
we finally got to see Mr. Knight. I'm so happy.
And what's interesting as well is
Star Wars toys until the segment's done.
This version of Mr. Knight that we've seen is different to the comic books, because in the comic books he's pretty slick and all the rest of it.
This Mr. Knight seemed he became that version of Moon Knight because Stephen was in charge, and Stephen's Moon Knight is Mr. Knight. Yeah.
And I'm 90% sure that it's not that personality. It's not Stephen that has the Mr. Knight. I think it's the other one. Mark. But I need to double check. But no, not Mark. There's a third one. Jake.
Is a third one?
Jake's. Yeah, there's 3.
Oh God.
I'm sure his name's Jake. I need to go. I've been reading.
Wait,
but
was this just a fan fiction you wrote?
His
why
name
it's called
Jake. His name is Jacob's Toys. No, but he's got another one.
My entire knowledge of Moon Knight comes from Werewolf by Night comics. So literally, I know nothing about Moon Knight.
Yeah. Well, he's one of them characters that again has developed over time. You know, originally he was created. You know, his powers were linked to the moon, so it was in the moon cycle, the lunar cycle, to battle werewolves and stuff. And then obviously in later times, he then kind of came away from all that mythical stuff and became basically like a Batman that wore white because he wanted his enemies to see him. It was like, come on, like he's that badass that he was like, yeah, I'm going to wear an all white costume so you can see me coming. I can't hide.
I don't see them using the Mr. Knight persona too much though, because that was literally Deadpool, wasn't it? Let's be honest, it looked like Deadpool in white.
It was very Deadpool. On the nose. But the Mr. Knight one is an interesting one because in the comic books he's
Deadpool 3.
Yeah, he's more of a character that can deal with situations that the Moon Knight can't, if that makes sense. So you know, going into kind of talking to people and liaising with crime bosses or whatever, you wouldn't have someone in a cape and a hood and stuff. So having someone in a suit But then the way that they've done it in this show is obviously Stevens, they say to him, "I'll get the suit," and so he thinks of a suit, and that's what comes. So it's not kind of this is the look. It's like put on the suit. Here's the suit. But it was a wicked scene. I must admit, it was a great scene, and it was great to see that version on screen. And then obviously, like we predicted, Marvel Legends released the official images of it, and that's then in the waves. So you've got both Moon Knight suits, both Hawkeyes, and the Ultron builder figure. So we're still waiting on a couple of figures. But I thought the episode went deep. I really do. I think the episode went quite deep, and it was good to see.
In this series, isn't there?
Yeah. Now you're testing. I think so. Yeah, I think so. I think it was 6. But it's
there's 6 episodes this season.
Yeah, this one was good because it kind of felt like it just brought you right up to speed with what was going on. Because obviously you see his wife, you see his like backstory, you see a much clearer understanding of what Ethan Hawke's character's doing. You see a lot more of what's his name? What's the god called?
Khonshu.
Khonshu, K-N-O, Khonshu. You see a lot more of him, and he's so much more like predominant in this episode, and a lot less scary. I thought, like, a lot less scary. But yeah, it was just all round a really good episode. But that final scene, and I'm not going to give too much away for Ryan's sake, but that final scene,
I'm already excited by everything you've listed so far. I'm already like, yeah, and then.
When you see him, it ends with him in a hotel room, and he's got whiskey in his hand, and he kind of stands up. That's going to be the third persona. That's my guess now. That's not Mark, and that's not Stephen. That's a different one. That's my prediction. So if it comes to fruition, then I'll say I told you so. But
I assume that was back to
and if
being
not, you'll
Mark.
go back and edit it out.
Yeah,
I assume that was back to being Mark, and there's obviously Stephen's taken over, and they've gone to that place, and that's when he sort of woke up and come back around like, oh god, where are we now?
See, I think that's what they want you to think, but I think that it's going to be the third one. Yeah. But there was a lot of symbolism in it. There's so much symbolism with like the broken mirrors and the, because we see Mark take over again, and Stephen's then inside the thing. But what I think is clever about this show as well is that Mark is the main character. Mark Spector is the main character. The others are the multiple personalities. But they've started it off with you feeling like introducing Stephen as if he's the main personality, but he's not. Mark is the main personality. So it's interesting to see that kind of the emotions of that other personality. But it's just I'm just really pleased that it's working, because I love Moon Knight as a comic, and I love him as aesthetically as a character. And I'm just really pleased that the general public have kind of bought into it and they're loving it, because it just means that we're going to see more of him going forward, But yeah, I just love it. And I love Morbius. But I think Oscar Isaac is phenomenal. I really do. But that's another reason why Stephen not being the predominant personality, that's another reason why that London accent is bad, because it's learned and not, it's developed and not learned. He's not grown up in purpose,
England, isn't it? He said that in an interview. What he said about every personality he's done has got a different accent, and he's changed it. And he said that, but he did make a comment about the London one. It was more going for like a bit like a Dick Van Dyke, not a real, and obviously not real London one. But it's more like someone who's visited London and decided to try and talk like people from London.
Yeah.
See, the thing for me is like, he's done that, but some of the words he uses are spot on, like the whole laters, gators, your donut, things that he says are very British. They're kind of like what we do say.
But if you notice, he uses words that wouldn't be used, but like laters, gators. You wouldn't have someone that would say laters, gators also say wagwan, and you know what I mean? So he's using all these words, but they're not working.
I forgot he said wagwan.
It was just wait till you see it, right? It's such a funny bit. But it's and he says things like in it and stuff, and it's just so there's little bits of the language. If you watch it knowing that that's not really his accent, you can pick up on them. And I just think that's really clever as a writer and as an actor to be able to portray that and get people genuinely annoyed by their accent at times is brilliant. But
Ryan,
I just think,
yeah.
Do you think he sounds like Jake a little bit? When you hear Jake talk, do you not see MoonKnight now in your head? Because for me,
I don't want to answer the question. I plead the fifth.
We were on about this last week, and I was laughing because I was watching the first episode with my dad. It was the week when you weren't here, and we were talking about it. And literally, Jake said "Laters Gators." I was like, "Oh my god, he said that before." Like, that is something Jake has said to us on chat. Laters Gators.
There are some similarities.
That's fine. That is absolutely fine.
Diplomatically.
You know, if there are some similarities between me and a Marvel character, I'm quite happy to take MoonKnight.
Yeah, you're going to take that, aren't you?
Even if I am one of the split personalities of Mark Spector, that's all right. That's all right. I'll shoehorn my way in that way.
That's it. If I shave this beard, all I'm getting is Charles Xavier. So just count yourself lucky.
But it is a brilliant episode, and it really did leave me wanting more. Like I'm not gonna lie. Like the rooftop scene was just phenomenal, and the use of the moon in the shots and everything. It's just spectacular. It really is.
And there weren't many Easter eggs in that episode. There was only the one that I caught, and that was the file number 975. Obviously, 1975 is when MoonKnight was introduced. That was the only one I caught.
There was a couple off the top of my head.
I know there was the thing, wasn't there? Another one of them.
There's a QR code.
QR code to scan.
There was a lot of symbolism in respect of the shattered glass and stuff, and various things like that. And there's a couple of things like where he pulls the mirror out and you can see two reflections. So there's 3 versions of him in one shot, which is quite clever. There's Werewolf by Night on the top of the bus, the Werewolf by Night and the issue number on the top of the bus. The 2 police on it that come into the what were their names again? Fred Kennedy and Frederick or something like that. But it is John JFK's names basically. And one more that I picked up on as well is on the desk when they're going through the desk. 2 of the books, one of them something Asgard and one of them something Wakanda. So there's like little hints at things going on there. So there was quite a few, but it was ages ago now I watched it.
I'm really interested into seeing how they're going to fit this into the wider MCU. Because obviously, like, Thor is a god, but yet we found out from the MCU that they're not really gods. They're just aliens from another world.
Yeah.
So how are they going to... Because, like, this is literal gods.
Yeah.
So technically, MoonKnight should be stronger than Thor, technically. Because he's got the spirit of an actual god within him.
Yeah, but then when you look at the type of god, it's the god that was banished and all that kind of stuff. So it's not...
it's interesting though, and how they're going to play it.
But what another point that's interesting when you talk about gods is obviously it ties in very heavily with Black Panther because of there's I can't remember my Egyptian history, but there's the god. There's a god in Egyptian thing that basically is that's god in Wakanda, but not Egyptian, if that makes sense. So they do cross over. So I think he'll fall kind of on a plane with Black Panther that that theirs comes from like these gods, but it's not actual, because to bring in like an actual almighty kind of like there's a story behind them all, isn't there? They're not going to actually bring in a real like god, are they? But then again, Gore is the god butcherer, so maybe he's just going to go and clear up after Thor: Love and Thunder.
Also, maybe in this universe, the definition of god is just something different.
Yeah,
what a god is, we're only using that by our own interpretations of what the word god for us means. So we're getting very, very metaphysical now, but like it's like, where do you draw the line with the Eternals and stuff like that? What constitutes as a god, what was there before, and all this stuff. And
but that's very cool as well. We've got the Eternals, haven't we, with all the Celestials and stuff like that. So it's such a huge expanded universe now, which is mad when you think going into cinema to watch Iron Man 1 to know that we'll be like 12 years down the line talking about where does this god fit in? Where does this this
whereas we were just like, I think that's part of Captain America's shield reflected in the ice. That's what we were looking at. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be interested to see where they're going to fit him in the wider MCU. Whether he is going to be kind of something that has his own path. It's supposedly confirmed that there is an MCU character cameo in this series, but there's so many characters now. We spoke about this last week, didn't we, Sorrel? But there's so many characters that they essentially could fit in without it being a big, oh look, it's Thor or it's Vision or something like that. Speaking of Vision, I've got to just give a little bit of a, not a shout out because they're not going to be watching this, but both my eldest two are both watching WandaVision or both completed WandaVision this week because they both want to see Doctor Strange. I was like, I'm not taking you to see Doctor Strange unless you watch WandaVision. And they were like, oh yeah, but it's black and white. Like, I don't know if we want to watch it. And I was like, listen, just watch the first 3 episodes. And then if you don't want to carry on, you don't have to. And they both finished it. And my daughter, who's kind of just now coming really into a Marvel kind of own, like smashed it out in a couple of days and finished it. And then was like, after every episode was like, oh, this, and this, and this, and who's this one? And I was like, yeah, and she loved it. And then I was like, all right, so what are you going to watch now? She went Falcon and Winter Soldier. I was like, good girl. I was like, you go ahead. So yeah, so I'm well proud of my kids. But there we go. That's just a bit of a side note there. But yeah, no, I'm excited to see what happens in the next episode. I haven't really got any predictions. Apart from the fact that I think the third personality is going to be coming out. I'm just really enjoying it, really enjoying where it's going. Yeah, Ethan Hawke steals the show for me. He's phenomenal in this, I think.
It took me a couple of minutes to really work out it was Ethan Hawke when we watched the first one. Me and Caroline were sitting there, we're like, that's weird, looks a bit like Ethan Hawke.
Yeah.
No way. IMDb.
He's just got old. He's got old. But yeah, he's really good in this. He is really good in this. So where should we start?
I've not got that connection to Ethan Hawke. I only know him as the guy from Purge. Pretty much all I know him for.
From the Purge.
Yeah, mate. Sorry, that's all I know him from.
He's done. What else is he's one of them characters? He's done
I
loads.
watched him in Alive the other day, which was the film about the Andy's plane crash where they ended up having to eat each other to survive.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I think that's one of his very first ones. Ethan Hawke's one of those actors that basically you just go, we need a good character actor to go in this film. You just get Ethan Hawke.
Didn't he do an action? There was like an action franchise he was tied to.
Well, there was a couple of things he'd done, but he was in the remake of the Magnificent Seven recently. That was really good.
Yeah.
He was fantastic in that as Billy, as what's his name with Billy the Kid as well. That was really good. I enjoyed that. That had Chris Pratt and Denzel in it.
Yeah.
No, for me, he's the guy from Purge.
Fair enough.
I actually haven't seen any of the Purge films.
You know what?
I've seen Purge.
No, I'll get round to it at some point.
Purge is deep, man. When you think about
the Purge is deep. Should I tell you what? Right, I gave up on the Purge after I think maybe the third one. But I recently watched both series on Amazon Prime, like the TV show.
The series are good.
The TV show takes it to another level. Like, I was like, wow, and it's made me want to go back and watch the films. But yeah, right. Where should we sideline to? Because that's MoonKnight talked about.
We may as well go to Marvel Legends. May as well go to Marvel Legends. I think stay on the Marvel bandwagon.
Let's stay on the Marvel bandwagon then. So obviously, officially, we got the Mr. Knight figure revealed, which was cool. That was nice. We knew that was coming because it had been shown already, kind of officially, unofficially. And then something happened on the internet, like things on the internet do. And let's be perfectly honest. We're going to talk about it because it's been everywhere. So we're not ruining anything because it's everywhere. But it was leaked, the official full wave, including Build-A-Figure of the Thor Love and Thunder upcoming Marvel Legends wave.
To be fair, Lego, as always, spoiled things first.
Yeah.
So just going to throw that out there.
It's one of those weird kind of catch-22s because it spoils, it not spoils, but it reveals spoilers about the film because obviously there's characters in that wave that we haven't seen in costume yet. So, we see Valkyrie, we see Jane Foster, we see Gore, we see Korg. obviously both versions of Thor, Star-Lord and Groot. And so it obviously spoils kind of what they're going to look like, but it's also a spoiler for Marvel Legends because they've not officially released it. My stance on this, and I'm going to be honest, because I posted it on Instagram and I just shared it and stuff, but if I was the one that had that information first, I wouldn't share it. Does that make sense? Like if I had a box in front of me that I knew there was a wave of unrevealed figures and I could post them on the internet and show everyone before the guys who developed them showed them, I wouldn't share it. That's not me. But when there's something that's on the internet and being shared by literally everybody with an Instagram account and a YouTube account and a Facebook account and their mum, I don't feel bad sharing it as well because it's out there. It's out there. I, as long as I wasn't the one who did it first, I feel okay about that.
I'm on the same wavelength as you. If I'm not the one, as long as I'm not the one that's
you one of the
leaking
first ones to leak the poster though.
That wasn't Marvel Legends, so I don't feel as bad. But but in my okay, fair enough. I was one of the first ones to leak that. But again, in my defense, I didn't even know that was a leak, right? Because it was literally a picture from a shop that was just sharing their stuff, and I was like, "Oh, the Thor: Love and Thunder's poster out. I've not seen this yet, so I'm going to share it." And I shared it, and then kind of everyone and their mum got in touch with me asking if it was legit. But that wasn't any. That was an completely unintentional leak that didn't come from me. It's not like I'd found it in a storage cupboard and went, "Oh, look at this," and took a picture and then shared it with the interwebs.
I'm only messing with you, man.
But no, but I totally do agree. But that was because the shop had put it in the machine, taken a picture of it and put it on their Facebook group. And I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. But yeah, I do feel bad when these kind of leaks come out because it's clearly somebody that's just in a factory that, you know, knows this kind of stuff hasn't been announced. And you can clearly see from the pictures as well, because they've kind of taken them out of the box and laid them all out, taken a picture and shared it with someone. And I do feel bad when they come out, but I don't feel bad sharing it when literally every page and account is sharing these pictures. I don't feel bad kind of sharing it because I just feel that it's the same as sharing anything that's out there. It's already out on the web. It's spread, you know, 101 people have shared it already. So yeah, but I wouldn't share it myself if I was the one with that information, just to clear it up. But
so the weird part is, though, the guy that leaked it actually got them from a Walmart. It wasn't like these were hidden away somewhere and he shouldn't have taken photos of them. These are genuinely something he's purchased. I think he's a stock. I think from the pictures, it looks like he may work there and probably knows better. But from what I understand, he's bought them. They're his. Because there's pictures on the internet of that first initial pic that we shared. And then he's actually got them home and actually built the Bat figure. There's pictures of the new Korg on the internet.
Yeah.
So he's genuinely got them home and built them. So I mean, he's bought them. Which, if you've bought something by right, you get to share it on the internet. You've bought it. It's not his fault that a company sold him it, and he shouldn't be held accountable for it. That's down to Walmart selling him it. Surely, that's my opinion anyway.
And I completely agree with that. I think that's a perfectly valid, and it kind of relates to what I was saying, is that if that person in the warehouse sent me a direct message with, look at this picture, do you want to share it with everyone? I'd say, no, you should know better. But if somebody's purchased something, shared a picture, and then everyone's gone, well, we haven't seen these yet, and then shared it, then I'm just doing the same as everyone else and just passing on information. Because as you say, if he's purchased them, that's his property. My prediction, here's my prediction. We're going to get a fan first Thursday or a fan first Monday or something, and they're going to announce these figures. There's not going to be, there's not going to be a pre-order window, or if there is, it's going to be a very small one. So they're going to be a case of these are now available to purchase, or these will be available by the weekend or something like that. However, before that event happens, I think we'll get a trailer. I think we're going to get a trailer Tuesday, Wednesday this week. And then the figures will go up for pre-order Friday, Saturday, something like that. That's my prediction.
Was I the only one that got ridiculously excited, though, when you saw that picture the first time? Because not only is there the new Marvel Legends there, but there's a box to the left of those Marvel Legends that say the words Lightyear.
Yeah, not many people picked up on that. Not many people.
Buzz Lightyear toys are at the side of it.
Yeah, not many people picked up on it.
Nice.
A couple of just to address a couple of the comments that did come my way. So a lot of people are saying, "Oh, repaints! Oh, what a lazy wave!" and all the rest of it. But from what I can tell from them pictures, they're not repaints. Like Valkyrie, for example, is not a repaint. Jane Foster Thor is not a repaint. Both Thors are not repaints. The Groot is different. We got a teenage Groot in the in a 3-pack not too long ago, but this Groot is different. He's got a different head sculpt, and he's also got interchangeable arms so that he can have the long
branches,
which I think is brilliant, and it's what we've wanted from a Groot for ages. And the Star-Lord again is very different. He's different looking. The coat fits differently. The head sculpt's different. So that's one of the things. But then I think the biggest complaint is what Gore looks like. People are really kicking off about Gore, like saying that he looks like
Voldemort.
Yeah. Or I think one of the funniest ones is someone I can't remember who said it now, but said that it looked like Death from Bill and Ted, which I thought was brilliant. Actually, I think it was SN Customs. He's on Instagram. I think he shared a picture. Yeah, it was actually, and he shared a picture. And you slide, it's the like, spoilers or whatever. And you swipe, and it's like just the Death from Bill and Ted. But I don't think that this is his final look. I don't think this is going to be.
No, he's just released or just summoned form.
Yeah, I think this is very much because you've got to bear in mind that this stuff that they produce is based on concept art. So a lot of it will work.
As we know from our interview with Steve Evans, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of it will work, but there will be elements that don't. And like Groot, for example, there's not going to be a huge amount of difference in Groot because we know what he looks like. We know what it's going to look like. But someone that's a new character that's been introduced in this film that's more than likely going to have more than one look, I wouldn't get too hung up on it. But I actually quite liked it. I was kind of like, oh, he looks quite spooky. Looks a bit Lord of the Rings-esque, that big sword and stuff. But I'm here for it. I'm like, and it's Christian Bale at the end of the day, so you know that he could come out. He could come out in a bin bag and still do a damn good performance. You know what I mean? You'd still want that action figure. So so I don't know. I was excited by it, but I look forward to the official kind of release of it and the official kind of notes that go with it. And it also, another thing to note as well is that I think it was Dan from the Marvel Legends team that said that April was going to be a really interesting month or a really fun-filled month. And even since the leak, has still put tweets out saying like the best is still yet to come and all that kind of stuff. So I don't think this is going to be the highlight of the Marvel Legends calendar in this wave. I don't think this is their kind of ace up the sleeve. I think this is just the wave that goes with the film. But the fact that they are in the shops as well makes me wonder whether they were supposed to be out already, because this film's trailer and everything keeps like there's no sign of it surfacing. So these figures could have been sat in the factory, in the warehouses for months, for all we know.
Do you remember when a lot of the companies did that? We did that Hasbro event a while back, and all the stuff was already in stock with the retailers, but they just couldn't say anything. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And literally, like the day later, Kapow started shipping. And I'm wondering whether this is going to be that kind of a situation. They're going to go, right, it's available, and guess what? Your retailers have already got them. They'll start shipping tomorrow, and Kapow will just start sending out invoices and stuff like that, and just start sending them out.
I reckon so. And I think that
if they've already got them, like you say, you're like, because if Walmart's already got them, then I'm guessing a lot of these retailers might have them just under secrecy.
Yeah, and that's why I reckon that we're getting a trailer very soon, because they wouldn't send all of the product out. Like Hasbro will have a certain clause, won't they? Like, okay, you can't send it out before this date because the trailer will be coming out around this date or something like that. Because you're not going to put all of these kind of spoilery products in the hands of all these retailers. And you think about how many thousands of units will be at places like Walmart alone. You're not going to run that risk unless you know it's close to the mark of stuff happening. So I'm really excited for the trailer. Really excited. But I don't know. But I don't think seeing Star-Lord and Groot, I don't think that's necessarily a big giveaway of how much they're going to be involved.
No, like the Thor that's in this set, we already kind of saw him look like that on an on-set photo, didn't we? We've already seen that look for Thor. So, I mean, it's a spoiler, but it's also not a spoiler at the same time.
Yeah.
We knew Jane Foster was in this film, so seeing her in an action figure isn't overly spoilery to me.
No.
For me, it was more of that Thor that's fully armored up that was kind of the, ooh, wonder what that's about.
But then even then, But even then, we've seen figures from
other sets, other
I think it's Figure Arts, weren't it, that released both Jane Foster and Thor. And then there was like an ornament or a Christmas ornament or something that so and the poster as well. Whoever leaked that, I'm not sure, but there was also in the middle of that poster, you see all of these characters. But let's not forget the Baff as well. The Builder figure is Korg in like Viking gear. Korg wearing trousers, like that's a weird concept for me. And people are kicking off.
They were shorts, but unfortunately they made them twice as long, and now I'm stuck wearing them.
I'll put them
Can't
on.
take them off.
Can't get them off.
Yep.
But it's like people are annoyed because that Korg 2-pack with the Grandmaster has recently really dropped in price, and people are now kicking off, going, "Oh, well, Korg's really easy to get now. We don't want him as a builder figure." Like, it's like, well, I want Korg in trousers. Like, thank you very much. I'm here for Korg in trousers.
My response to that person who said that would be, let's not make this all about you.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, it's just, I think it's a good wave. I think, and it's a full MCU wave, not a single comic book figure in it. So makes the MCU collectors happy because they can buy a wave and appreciate every figure. Makes the comic book collectors happy because they don't have to buy a wave. And then it makes most people unhappy because there's always something that triggers somebody. So, people are getting triggered about all sorts of stuff, but that's such is life. So what else did we get? We got Black Series as well, didn't we? We had a big Star Wars event this week.
Yes, we had tons of Star Wars announced, actually. There's some really good ones finally in the range. I'm really excited. A lot of people were kicking off that they were like saying they were rubbish releases, but I thought these were awesome. I was all over these ones.
I don't think anyone's ever happy ever anymore.
No, in Star Wars.
It's exhausting. No, it's just like, I find it exhausting. I'm actually, despite the fact I'm someone who makes a lot of Star Wars content, I can't stand most of Star Wars fans. They're so unpleasant and so angry for no reason. They're just so angry. It's like, why are you so angry? That's where like, oh, some of you said you wanted this figure, so we made it. And the other people go, but I didn't say I wanted it. Ah! Like, oh.
Yeah. So don't buy it. Do not buy it. If you don't want it, don't buy it. But anyway, so what did we get?
So we started out obviously with a little bit of pre live stream fun, because Figuring Dan, I call it Fingering Dan because that is what my wife called it, and it amused the hell out of me. Figuring Dan is coming to us finally in the TVC. Hopefully, and apparently we're going to be getting the rest of the band in a box set very, very soon. He's the only one that's going to be on card, which I know
it's quite cool.
Weird, isn't it? But the rest of them are coming in a box set apparently, so I'm guessing that might be a celebration thing.
It makes more sense, I suppose, because that way you can have just like one in a vintage card for your wall or display if you're a carded collector, and then just to complete the band if you're just wanting the set, rather than having to buy like 8 of that one figure and it has all the weapons in it, all the different instruments in one figure.
Was it Steve or was it Hasbro that released a series of pictures that showed them all playing the different instruments?
Oh, I think
I'm sure I've seen that on Instagram.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
You like when they do a Marvel live stream and they just tease you with like, oh, this is a backpack of a character coming soon. Apparently the guys at Star Wars don't do that. They just tell you. We're just releasing the whole set later, guys. You can get it later.
Yeah.
We're going to show you this, but also tell you that this.
So the other one that was like my major highlight was definitely seeing Saw Gerrera. Finally, he deserves a figure. He's the only Star Wars character to have transcended not just movies but games, comics, TV. He's in
animation.
Everything. Yeah, he's in all corners of the Star Wars universe, but has not got a figure yet. He's the last one to get one.
You know what? He's one of them characters.
What, in Black Series? Or are you talking about in
Black Series? He's coming to Black Series. Saw Gerrera.
Oh, right, because he had a 3/4 inch figure, because I've got it.
Yeah.
He's one of them characters that I loved him in everything, like seeing his development in Clone Wars and the game, obviously Fallen Order and stuff. But then when I saw the Black Series figure, I did not realize that he had one sandal, and that really threw it for me. I was like, this guy is badass. Like, why is he wearing a flip flop? It's like, that really ruined it for me. I'm not.
Because if you've only got 1 foot left, you might as well like be have a comfort, open toed.
No. This guy's got like.
I keep hearing whenever someone says something's like a lie, all I hear is going, lies, deception, That's all I can hear from Rogue One. Whenever someone says something lies, that's what comes into my head.
But I just think he's so like badass looking. I think he's like, and then I saw that and I was like, why has he got a flip flop on? Like, I never twigged that he was wearing a flip flop. Like,
To be fair, Jedi are wearing bathrobes, so
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. They've got the Force. This guy, he's not battle ready in his flip flop.
he's got.
Right?
To be fair, he's not battle ready because he can't breathe and he's got a leg missing. But like, you know, he's not going to be doing a lot with like, you know, because it's like, and he's got the breathing thing. He can't go anywhere. Every time he like has a go at someone, he's like.
He's one of my favorites.
Well, the thing
He's awesome. I love him, but yeah.
Yeah, the thing is with this figure as well, I think we'll definitely once we got this one out, I think they'll very quickly do the same head sculpt, but just make him bald and put another shoe on the other foot, and we'll have the Gaming Greats version. We'll have the Gaming Greats version because that's how he appears in Fallen Order. He's a little slight. He's just bald, isn't he? He's bald and he's got 2 feet in that one. Yeah, so it's an easy win, surely.
Appropriate footwear, please, on my action figures.
Game, or is it?
As far as I'm aware, in Fallen Order, he's still got both feet. As far as I'm aware, I've never really looked, to be honest. That's one thing I've not looked at.
I now kind of want to go and Google it.
Listen, I don't care if he's got a robot leg or not. I care whether he's wearing flip flops. Like, that's what I care.
Maybe it's because like the bottom of his foot, it could be like the Soul Guerrera.
No, put a flip flop on him. Doesn't work for me. But no, but it is a cool.
I really want to Photoshop a pair of flip flops on Darth Vader now, just to see what your reaction would be.
So then we're getting the next Republic Commando, because obviously we know that Xavi are getting 2, aren't they? Of the Republic Commandos. That was announced like a week ago, and now we're getting the other guy, which I can't remember his name for love of money. It's not Boss. We've already had Boss.
Scorch.
No, it's the red one.
Scorch, Boss, Keith.
Oh,
can't remember his name. Anyway, he's coming out.
I only played the game like 4 weeks ago.
A Star Wars question that's got Ryan stumped. This is a world-breaking.
I would like to announce my retirement from the internet.
I was going through the boxes, and for some reason I don't have a picture of that box art, so I can't see his name, and it's driving me insane now. Nope, it's gone.
It'll come to you, Ryan. It'll come. Just put it back in mind, and you'll shout it out in about
Republic Commando is coming anyway. He's coming very, very soon. I think it's. Do you know? I think it's funny though. Like, again, the difference between Marvel and Black Series. Again, Marvel will leak out. Here's another character from the Defenders, and maybe you might like this one 3 months later, and then a year later I'll give you this one. Whereas literally Black Series, one after another, like, well, we got 2 coming from Xavi, 1 coming from us, and then we're going to give this the final one like in a week. It's just like we got the whole team more or less now. I think it's like 1 figure missing. There's the 5. There's the 5 of them.
4.
Oh, it's all 4. So we've got the whole team. The whole team's now been put into. That's brilliant.
No, with the Star Wars guys, the longest it felt between like completed a team was with the Bad Batch. Yeah, I think that was the longest that they left it. Yeah,
I'm still waiting for them in 3/4 inch.
They'll come.
Oh, 100%. As soon as the season 2 drops, I'm guessing you'll get updated TVCs, and then that'll annoy all the Black Series collectors that want the updated versions. So then we've got Shay Vizsla coming from the expanded universe, from the video game. She's coming very soon on TVC card backs. Looks absolutely awesome. I think people are going to steal that face sculpt for an updated Mara Jade. I really do.
Oh yeah, good shout actually.
It really looks like Mara Jade. But yeah, Shay Vizsla, nice one, especially with the Mandalorian and the whole Vizsla storyline they're going through at the moment.
Is that the vintage collection when they're re-releasing on the
Shay Vizsla? As far as I'm aware, yeah, she's TVC, but it's as far as I'm aware, she's brand new. I don't think she's ever been released.
No, they did do a Shay Vizsla one. It's one of the rarest. It's a ridiculously rare Star Wars figure. It goes for stupid amounts of money. It might have been in a comic pack.
Right, okay. I don't think they count the comic packs, do they? Do they count them as their own? This Hasbro.
Yeah, this still Hasbro. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure they did, because that character's one of those ones that just goes for stupid amounts of money.
Yeah.
That's where Jake just pulls one out of a box that he's had, like going like, "Oh, what are those?"
And then the weirdest thing was when they released this weird Lando Calrissian in a bright yellow shirt.
Yeah,
That is so bright in it.
I don't know why, but I really like it.
It's because every other Star Wars character is either grey or black, and then you get this guy in bright yellow and blue.
Almost as funky as Lobot sleeves, it's like that kind of super fresh territory. Plus, also, it's just anything that helps support that Lando series, I hope does actually happen.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't it based on what's his name, Glover's character as well?
Yeah, it's Daniel Glover's version, and he's rocking some dodgy Hawaiian shirt in the middle of the Star Wars universe. It just looks so out of place, but apparently it's from Star Wars Battlefront 2. Is that look?
It's Lando at the end of the day. He could wear flip flops. He could wear flip flops, and I'd buy it. It's like that'd be okay. That'd be acceptable. Why is he wearing flip flops?
Don't let me down.
It's Lando. He's still the coolest guy in the universe.
Hello, Peter. Welcome to the cool side of the pillow.
Then they're giving us the final ARC Trooper, which is Jesse. The final one to be re-released on cardback. That's not my thing. I'm not collecting them, but yeah, they're there. Then we've got the Jetpack Trooper Commando-y, what do you call it, Mandalorian?
Mm-hmm.
It's the one with the longest name ever. Mandalorian Death Watch Airborne Trooper. Say that for
AKA Dave.
Basically, we're giving you...
Do not get on.
Basically, we are repainting a Boba Fett, slapping a packaging on it, and sending it to you now, Blue. Because that is what it is.
Available now at all good retailers.
It is literally, though. I'm not being funny. It is literally. It's got the two pistols. He's got two pistols instead of one, and he's literally got a different holster. Other than that, it's got the tubes, the thing. It's Boba Fett Blue. But
Boba Fett.
Yeah. Boba Fett. They've done a couple of retakes. The helmet as well, haven't they? They've done Trapper Wolf's helmet. Not Trapper Wolf.
It is Trapper Wolf's helmet.
It is Trapper Wolf, yeah.
They are giving us Trapper Wolf helmet as well, which apparently is the visor is gonna do stuff. So you can see like a HUD display or something that's said, and you're gonna get all the battle sounds in the earphones.
Dave Filoni just basically went, do you want more Star Wars stuff? Yeah, we do. Do you want to make some more toys? Yeah. We'd love to make some more. Make me a fucking helmet then, all right?
I've got the Luke Skywalker one, and
that in it much. Doesn't
matter.
Make one of those.
Death Star attack and the snow speeder sounds. Like you can change between the two battle sounds in it, but there's nothing on the visor. So I'll be curious with that. They have released it as Wedge's helmet as well.
Come down just like Dave Filoni is king.
I am Star Wars.
Yeah.
If from what me and Jake know about, if Zavi play ball, hopefully I should have my helmet, and I'll be able to do a review on the Wedge helmet, because I put that one down as one of my things, by the way.
Nice.
Zavi, can you watch this? Can you give me some stuff, please? I'll love it more than these guys. You know I will.
Oh, that's. I don't know.
Sorry, the man of 100 helmets over here is definitely going to appreciate a helmet more.
That sounds like a really bad Sherlock Holmes. Sherlock Holmes and the man with 100 helmets.
That's what happened to Watson in that one. You don't want to know.
The curious incident of the man with 100 helmets.
Moving on, we have the Mandalorian Super Commando Captain. So that's the Darth Maul Mandalorian.
Yeah,
he's coming in TVC.
They were a cool bunch of guys. I'm not going to lie. I really liked that. It was Rebels, wasn't it?
It was Clone Wars.
Was it Clone Wars? Wow.
Why did you just suddenly age like 20 years and try to sound young? They were a cool bunch of guys, weren't they?
They were a really cool bunch of hip-happening.
Those young lads were down with it.
Man, they were on fleek. Is that the right word?
They were super keen.
I don't know if I use that right. I've broken him. No, but
I a drink. You said that. I was not expecting you to say fleek.
I just thought it was like my daughter said. But no, that the Death Watch and the Mandalorian Darth Maul crossover. Like for me, that was really awesome. Like I really like that. So yeah, I could be tempted to get one of them.
Yeah, then they're giving us another troop builder pack for TVC, and it's going to be the Death Troopers. You're going to get 4 Death Troopers, one of which will be a captain with the big black pauldron piece on his shoulder. So you can build up an army of them, especially if you got the Navarro Cantina recently. Because right now, I think the only one you can really get is the shiny, what do you call it one, the carbonized one, isn't it?
The carbon collection one.
And
I just sold my one of those.
They go for a pretty penny in HMV, $17.99. Damn! Can't justify that.
Nope, I sold mine for really cheap as well, because you just can't shift them secondhand.
Wow.
True story.
And then the final one, which I'm sure will make Ryan very, very happy, is a multicolored Wookiee for the retro collection.
I have to confess, I'm not a big fan of those prototype ones with the random colors.
I hate them with a passion.
It's just,
you know what,
if people like them, it's fine. It's just not for me. I would rather have seen, I don't know, like a Rogue One character or something as vintage, or a variant on. Because I got 2 of the vintage Bo-Katans, because I'm going to repaint one as Keys. Oh, I can't remember how you say her name, but as the other sort of Mandalorian from that series. So I would rather have had a variant for that. I'm not really a big fan of this prototype thing.
You know, if they'd stuck with it and
if
they'd just done one, like a Darth Vader prototype, whatever, I think it would have been cooler. I don't like it's similar to the carbonized that they did. I don't like the fact that they're rolling out so many variants. To me, they just look like Play-Doh. Like, you know, when you kind of get your Play-Doh, my 3-year-old loves his Play-Doh. You get all the different colors and then you kind of mash them all together and make something. And I'm like, it just looks like a Play-Doh character. Like, it's not for me.
People do go nuts for them. They spend so much money trying to get all the, because there's normally like 5 or 6 different color setups. You know, I've seen some of those Stormtrooper ones and the Boba ones go for the Darth Vader ones go for stupid money now. I mean, if you're looking at making an investment, I guess it'd probably be worth maybe picking up a couple and just waiting a few months.
Has anyone like bought like 6 of them and then like mashed them all together so they're all one color?
No, I don't think anyone's done the boil and pop to get solids. Yeah, I think I'd just rather spray paint some beaters I've got to get that look, I think.
That'd be quite cool. I could get behind buying a handful of them, because then essentially if you bought 6, you'd still have 6, but you'd have like a blue one and a pink one, and that'd look pretty cool.
Would look really cool for like a pop art piece of art. If you put them in like a box frame, and you put like all the colours going like in diagonal.
Melt some crayons above it.
Yeah, you could do something really cool. God, we're turning Hasbro into art.
Yeah.
Hasbro art department, if you're listening.
Turning them into art or just developing the art.
Oh, nice. Oh, yes, rather.
Then we kind of moved on to the comic book range of figures that they're releasing this year. Continuing those nice big boxes for us. We're getting a solid white Darth Vader.
You know, I'm down for that. I'm not even gonna lie. When I saw it, I was kind of like, I don't know why, but I really want it.
The Christmas range. Come on.
Yeah.
They released him in the comic 2-pack years ago. I've got it somewhere. For the Infinity comic, wasn't it?
Why is he white? What's the reason?
So it's the Infinite comic, and basically Leia comes with Luke to the Death Star 2 to confront Vader, and rather than the idea is he can't confront both his children at the same time, so he turns good and he doesn't die, and he turns into the White Vader. And he puts a white suit on to show his return to the light.
Oh
yeah, it's a bit naff, mate. And he doesn't put that suit on until the very last panel of the comic book.
It is like the last shot.
Look at
the
me.
last shot you see of him is like, it's like, and tonight, Matthew, I'll be White Vader. Comic ended.
We ran out of ink.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a really random comic.
I think I'm going to pick one up just because the aesthetics of having all white figure of something that's supposed to be black.
You could do a lot of good shots if you had the exact same figure in its normal black thing. You could do a sort of a mirror type thing. If you get one standing above the other, you could get a really cool shot of like the mirror. Which I do.
Thing. I have the black Darth Vader. I have that one.
I've got to stop giving you ideas.
That's the main reason why I was going to pick it up, because there's
like a mirror and put the hand on it.
I've still.
So it looks like this. So, sorry.
My favorite Vader to this day is still the blue one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I still got that pearlescent blue one. It's still my favorite go-to Vader to, like, for photos and stuff.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
So yeah, we're getting the white Vader from the Infinites comic. Then they're giving us a Leia Organa from the Princess Leia comic books. Can I just say, it's a kit bash. It is a proper kit bash. I can literally tell you the recipe to make that figure right now. It's Bespin Leia with the jacket from Padme. The head is from the recent release Leia with the one they just give us, the ceremony Leia head. It's that one. And the gloves and the belt is from Jaina Solo.
That is a pinch of salt and let it marinate for 6 weeks.
It's literally that, and they've just painted it brown instead of black. It's like, that is literally it. You can make that figure at home if you've got all the right ones, which someone has done. Oakwood, there's a guy on YouTube, Oakwood Studios. He's like made that figure just from boil and pot and put a review on it. So I've got it in hand now.
Nice.
But yeah, that is just a kit bash. But anyway,
I suppose you have to then buy those 6 figures though to make one figure, and then left with random other parts that don't mix up.
But if you don't like me and Jacob, I've got a box literally just full of busted up figures. Like, as soon as someone sells one online, either like, oh, I broke a foot off it, I'll buy that off them because they're going to sell it dirt cheap because it's broken. I'll buy it just to boil and pop the rest of the stuff off of it. So I've got all the components just in a drawer. I always buy busted up figs.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'll pick stuff up just to pull them apart for the parts.
Yeah, it's like that Anakin I made the other day is literally all
stuff for parts and repairing and customizing.
Yeah, it's like the Anakin I made the other day is literally just made from boil and pop parts. Everything about him was kit bash. That was
a great one, man. That was really cool.
I just literally sat and just made him up from pieces in a drawer and just used a hairdryer to heat it up quickly to pop him on while I were on a call.
Yeah. I was the same. That's how I put that Bruce Banner together. I was like, right, what parts have I got sitting in my fodder box? I want to make myself a figure while I'm doing this. And I was like, I'll do Bruce Banner.
The next figure was Sergeant Creel. I'm not too up on this figure, but apparently it's a stormtrooper with a lightsaber. It's from the Star Wars comics. I don't know which one, but it's from the early ones, and it's Sergeant Creel. That's as much as I know, I'm afraid. I need to go read up on that one before I do the review, obviously. And then the Trapper Wolf helmet was the last thing on my list. Then we went into pipeline reveals. Yay! Everyone likes a good pipeline reveal. Vintage Collection is getting the Clatoonian Raider, an Artillery Stormtrooper, Mandalorian Season 2 Luke Skywalker, and a Dark Trooper. Ooh.
I'm surprised it's taken them this long. I'm surprised it's taken this long to do that, Luke. I'm not going to lie. Because again, like so many people, including myself, was able to put that together using different versions of the figures that we already had. So I'm surprised they've waited.
They've let that sort of die down a bit.
Yeah, but then if I still collected Star Wars, for example, that was my Luke. I had him in my display in that setup. It was the Return of Jedi Luke and whatnot, but I had him as the one that you had in Mandalorian. So seeing that as a release figure, I wouldn't go, oh, I need to pre-order that. So I think a lot of people that wanted that figure have gone about getting it already. So they need to do something really special with this. And it's a pipeline, so we don't know how it's going to come or what it's going to be included and stuff. But I think they need to do something special to convince people that have already created that figure to actually go, yeah, my one's not as good and I need to buy it.
Yeah, the Dark Trooper, I think, is going to be the one that I think most people are going to go nuts for, because everyone's going to want to army build that as well. So I think you'll find that one hard to get because no one's going to leave with just one in their hand.
I'm going to pre-order 2 of those probably,
exactly,
just because of the not going to find them in the wild.
Yeah.
And then the pipeline reveals for the Black Series, Grogu.
Yeah, I didn't get that. I didn't get where they're going with that. Like the last Black Series Grogu was a big letdown because he was like about 11 quid, tiny little box with little tiny accessories. And don't get me wrong, I've still got him. He's one of the Star Wars figures that I didn't get rid of because he goes with my Mando and stuff. But yeah, I'm curious as to what they're going to do.
I've got a feeling it will have like alternate heads. I think it will have like every accessory ever under the sun. Like it
will come in a box like this big. The little figure.
I was wondering, to make it worth it, I was wondering whether we're going to give us one of, because everyone keeps making the blue tank with the little legs in. I'm wondering whether he's going to come with that blue tank that lights up with the eggs in.
Yeah.
Or the what's the stone called in season 2 that is on?
The meditation
the stone thing. Yeah.
Yeah. They could easily turn it into like a deluxe kind of box set, like literally a bigger box with that as the prop piece. Grogu, as you say, a couple of different heads, couple of different accessories of things that he's been involved in. His little T-shirt that Mando makes him. But yeah, it could be.
T-shirt.
You know, I'm never going to let that go.
I know, ever.
That he's wearing. Oh, you're wearing my T-shirt. Nice. It's just what you had
on fleek.
You had the choice between a lightsaber and my T-shirt. You picked good. Yeah. So
Boy, God style.
And then Migs Mayfield was the other one. Migs Mayfield.
Who's that one?
Migs Mayfield, Bill Burr's character from Mandalorian. I think it's just him and his civvies this time, just how he was randomly.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
I'm not
It'd be cool if it's one from the jailbreak. Is this for the vintage collection?
No, that's all Black Series.
That's all Black Series, okay.
Yeah. I think that's I think that is the picture that they showed of him in the jailbreak
scene, I
episode.
think.
Yeah.
At least you'll get a cool accessory with the gun that comes on the backpack, you know. I assume they'll probably put that in because that's how he's thinking the prison bit, isn't it? He's got the 2 guns and he's got the third one that comes out on the very Dash Rendar style over the shoulder type thing. So that'd be quite a cool accessory for you kit bashers out there.
I think the pipeline reveals is really good though, because it kind of eliminates a lot of the problems that like Marvel had with these Thor figures. Like if we knew that they were coming as a pipeline, it would have taken a lot of wind out of the sails when these figures kind of got leaked. So I think it's a genius move by the Star Wars team to kind of do that, but it's a shame that the other properties don't do that as well. Because it'd also be nice to know what is coming. Like it's like, you know, we've already made our minds up over the pipelines. We've not even seen the figures.
Yeah, my kind of only thing, like the Star Wars guys are brilliant, but the Marvel guys, when they do like a stream, it feels like a show and it feels like we've got stuff to show you, and they get really excited, and it takes a good hour to get through that presentation. The Hasbro guys from Star Wars seem to have loads of things to say, but do it all within like 10 minutes. Because they're literally, I was trying to keep up live tweeting about all the stuff, and I just couldn't keep up because they were just one after another after another. It's like, geez, calm down.
They are lacking a bit of the showmanship on that one. They
could have milked some of those reviews a little bit more with the eggy.
They could have blue milked some of those reveals. Hey, Star Wars.
Got it in there. Yeah. Was that it for the Black Series though?
That was it. Sorry, yeah, that was my mishmash of news.
Yeah, it's a decent enough, reveal. It was nice to see a lot of new figures and some kit bashed and whatnot. But
I was disheartened by the lack of retro, but then Ash did very kind of remind me that obviously there is a certain celebration coming up soon, so they'll almost probably, there'll probably be some more reveals there. There'll be some other things. Yeah.
And there was no droids, was there? There's no droids included in this thing, so which surprised me, because there's a whole collecting community that just collect the droids and stuff. So I was surprised that there wasn't any.
So
they're all in Galaxy's Edge now.
I'm about to say. So the thing is with droids, Disney themselves do the Droid Depot and do the whole droid collection. That's nothing to do with Hasbro, as far as I'm aware. I don't think Hasbro even produced them. It's literally Disney's in-house team. So they seem to handle a lot of the droid merch now, and it's all Galaxy's Edge stuff, because I've got loads of it behind me. It's all like Galaxy's Edge inspired now.
Oh, okay.
And that's like, it gets released in the parks and on the Disney Store website, and that's about it.
Fair enough. Yeah. Let's talk about, while we're talking retro, let's talk about the Marvel retro line, because you've had a good week for that, Ryan. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
So
I've done a little short video. I don't really do haul videos, but I had a good idea because of the Stealth Iron Man in there, and I thought, I'm going to do that.
Now, we should definitely do haul videos. Haul videos get you 1,000 hits instantly, right? This is the first.
You know what it is? It's just because, if I'm being quite honest, I don't really watch them. Like they don't do a lot for me. Like seeing, like it's kind of like it's like the bit on Bullseye. Enjoy it. Like, let's have a look at what you could have won. Bum, 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 bum. Like it's like so someone going to me, hey, look at the sale barge I got that you didn't. That's basically what I say. So But I did that one as a bit of fun.
You need a really cheesy catchphrase like "Look what I got" and make it really obnoxious when you do it.
I can't think of anyone who would ever think to do start a video in that manner, personally. But yes, I got lucky. But the main reason I got lucky is because the good thing about the Geek Week in Review is we got each other's backs. So I had quite a few gaps in my Marvel, despite my love of Marvel Retro and getting Jake, partially responsible for getting Jake hooked on them. Had some huge gaps, and then Jake had only kindly heard a rumor about B&M having some Marvel Legends Retro. He sent me the picture on Friday night. I got up Saturday morning and I went there and I bought every single one that was on that shelf because I only had one of each and I needed all of them. So
it was a really small.
Looked at me with absolute contempt as well.
Yeah, I bet.
I was like, I'm going to have all these figures and a pack of tropical fruit bubblicious.
And some toilet rolls and some shampoo. But yeah,
but, for such a good price as well. I mean, they're only $7.99 each, I think, with less than retail normal.
Well, I mean, I went down there to have a look because I'd heard the rumor that they were in there, and obviously went down there, and I was really surprised that there was literally one of each. That it was just a really small. Like, I put them all together and sent you a picture of them all in one shot.
It was like they had one of those little Marvel delivery boxes. You know, the little Hasbro ones.
If I knew that you were going to go there Saturday morning, I would have done something like hidden them in different places and given you a clue for each one. Now, Storm is in between, but I must admit,
basically one of those worth.
Yeah, I'm kind of on the fence with this because is this signaling the end of the retro line for us UK retailers? Is it just a one-off that, there's a handful that are just there to kind of get rid of? But it kind of made me a little bit sad to sort of see them there. But I don't know, because they weren't hugely less.
Sorry, it's my book got set off. I was just closing it back up.
But they were, for $7.99. So, let's round it up, £8. They retailed at most places for £11 anyway. So it wasn't a huge discount. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it, but it was a random selection of them.
Yeah, I don't think it was I don't think it's something we should be worried about, personally. I don't think it's a bad sign for the collection. The other thing is the collection has a big following. I think it's one of those things, it's a collection that people seek out. I think a lot of people buy it online as well. That's the other thing. So while maybe the casual person walking around in a shop might not buy them, so a shop might, if you have like the Entertainer, for example, in Hull, might struggle to sell the Marvel Retro line there or something. But, people like you and me will go out target those particular places to get something like that. I don't think it's not a casual purchase for a lot of people.
No, I
agree. I think that's why it's really safe. Even if maybe it doesn't do as well physically in shops, I think it's always done well online because it always seems to sell out on like Star Action figures. When they do the waves and stuff, they always sell out. And that's where I went wrong because unfortunately, didn't have the money at the time to pre-order those waves. That's why those gaps. And now getting some of those other, first bits in the middle, it's proving difficult.
Yeah. See, I was the opposite. I was able to pick them all up, but then I've got a few people that kind of would send me a message and go, "Oh, I've seen this on, do you want it?" and that kind of stuff. So, but I've kind of done a sorrel with this, and I've intentionally not pre-ordered them because I was like, when it comes, then I'll go on a bit of a hunt for them, as opposed because they're small waves. Like the next wave has got 5 figures in it? Oh no, 4 figures.
4, I think.
4, yeah. So I've kind of gone, I'll wait. I'm not going to pre-order it. I'll just sit back and wait. And I did that with the last wave and I was able to get it. So yeah, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy it. But argued with a few people online because they've told me they're not Marvel Legends. And I'm like, no, they are Marvel Legends. They're just not Marvel Legends 6-inch. Like they are still Marvel Legends.
It says it on the box.
Yeah, it's but no, I'm pleased that you're able to fill those gaps. I only need Grey Hulk. If I can get Grey Hulk, then I've got a complete collection. And I was disappointed.
Find a Grey Hulk and send it over my way.
Yeah, well, I know there's one in the shop. I've seen it in the shop a couple of times. I've walked past it a few times, but I think that's because.
Is it a game
it's there.
exclusive, Grey Hulk?
Is it? Was it?
Is it a game exclusive, the Grey Hulk? Because every time I see Grey Hulk, he's always in the games. He's always in Game Store.
The one in Chelsea.
I've not seen
it
one
there,
elsewhere.
unfortunately.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is because a friend of mine sent me a picture of what I think was HMV, and he was in there. But I know I could get one. Like I could literally send a message to someone off after this and get one sent over. But I don't know.
You want the thrill of the hunt.
Because he's the last one I need. I kind of don't want it to just be an easy send. And now that I have seen him at like a reduced rate in stores, like in B&M, I was kind of like, I might just wait and see if he pops up. And I'll just send you a picture of me in there holding him.
And then go, oh, Ryan, there is a second one. You'll never guess where I've hidden it.
Yeah. It's on a different level. It's, yeah, but no, it's good to see. It was good to see kind of like Marvel figures that I wanted, even though I had the ones that I saw on a shelf in a discount store. Like that was exciting in a way. That was something a little bit.
The old days of the Batman animated when we used to go hunting for those.
Oh, I know. See, I was in a really fortunate position though, because at the time,
you were all over
I was all over the country. So I was literally in a different town and different part of the country, like every day almost.
Like a commando squad. I'd get a call from Jake going, all right, okay, this time I'm in the Harlow B&M. I can see they got a baby doll, they got a killer, with Killer Krog, they got this. I was like, right, okay, need. Okay, no worries.
It was a really enjoyable hunt because I would go up, I'd do the work that I needed to get done, and I'd be like, right, where's the nearest B&M? And I'd look, and if it was within like a mile, I'd go, right, I'll go over to it. And I'd drive over to it, straight down to the toy aisle, and I'd be like, yes, they got Batman. Go through them all. And I got the entire collection from being in different parts of the country. I think there was only a couple of, there was like Man-Bat I still needed and a couple of the bigger ones. But it was really exciting to have that kind of thrill of the chase sort of thing.
You still collecting them? No. Sorry, we still collected them the day that the Batlight came in, the Gotham City Batlight.
Yeah,
collected at that point. So I'll never forget the commotion online and people going, "Oh my god, get to B&M!"
Yeah, everyone went nuts.
Mine is. Where is mine? It's somewhere. It's around here somewhere. Even though I'm probably going to shift a lot of the figures because they're okay, but I've sort of fallen a bit out of love with them and I need the space. But I think I'm going to keep the bat signal still though because I really love that bat signal.
Yeah. The thing that I fell out of love with them was when the Batmobile and the Batwing came out, because I was like, I want them, but they're too big. They're like too big.
That was the biggest problem with it. Like, that was one of my first big video reviews I did actually, because I decided I was going to sell it. I was like, because I'd already opened it, so I was like, I'm going to review it. So I have a piece of it forever in video form online. But it was because I always had the idea of mounting it on the wall. But I can't even show on my camera screen how wide it was. Ridiculous. Like it was massive, but it was too big. Yeah. It looked cool, and if I collected nothing but Batman, I'd keep it. It's like the Batcave playset they did as well was massive as well, similar kind of thing. And if you were just collecting that, then I think it'd be fine. So if you didn't have all your Marvel Legends, you only had Batman, it's the kind of thing you would make space for because it would be like that sort of centerpiece that you would build your collection around. But if you are like someone like me, and both of you guys as well, like have collected multiple things of various sizes, the stuff was just too big. Even the figures, when you had that many figures in that size, like with Man-Bat with his wings out, it's massive. You had Roxy Rocket with the giant thing. Clayface was a big figure. They all started taking up a lot of space.
It was just the little feet that got me. It was just they were too. They didn't work. Like the
Two-Face didn't stand
work.
Ever. And those stands didn't work. The claw things barely. They didn't really hold them at all.
They're just like kind of like, and then like the slight. All you had to do is blink, and they would like fall out. Like it's. Yeah, that was too much for me.
I did love and one I will keep is the second season of Mr. Freeze. When they did the redesign, and he had the spider leg thing.
Oh, the spider legs that came off him.
I'm keeping that because I love that. That's so cool still.
Yeah, that was cool. I used them legs for so many customs. I bought about 3 or 4 of them from B&M because I was like, these longs, perfect for customs. Absolutely perfect. I'm really annoyed I haven't still got Mr. Freeze head because that would have been good for a what if Ant-Man head. But hey,
I might even have a spare one actually. I'll have a dig around if I can find it at some point. I'll send it your way for Ant-Man custom.
Appreciate it.
The thing with that whole B&M that whole time period when you could pick up the DC collectibles dirt cheap in there, like the Gotham's the Arkham Knight stuff was in there. You got all sorts of stuff, and I think that's where a lot of newer collectors came from. They started finding these nostalgic Batman toys, and then they literally just found groups on Facebook to like help them get the rest of them before they knew where they were. They'd gone down the collector's rabbit hole.
Yeah,
it was old school collecting. You're right.
Yeah, it was literally like it was like being a kid again, because they were the toys of our childhood remade for collectors. So I mean, I think that got a lot of new people into the hobby, to be honest.
We're kind of waiting. Like, we're due a new wave, aren't we, of something? Because we were talking earlier, but we had that Marvel Legends home bargains wave, where it was the Civil War wave that landed in all the home bargains, and a lot of people kind of got into the Marvel Legends or the MCU element of Marvel Legends through those, because they weren't on our retail shelves, they weren't in the toy shops and stuff, and then all of a sudden they appeared in this discount shop for like £5 a piece or something stupid like that. That was the first full wave that I bought. I'm not going to lie, I cherry picked here and there, but then when I saw them all and I was like, less than 40 quid and I can get the whole wave, like, yeah, sign me up. And then obviously we had the Batman animated series stuff in B&M, but we've not had like another real big, there's been little bits here and there, hasn't there? But not like a big thing that everyone's going, you need to go to B&M and get these.
No, the last kind of big collector's rush thing was HMV around October time. We're selling off the Amigos, the horror Amigos, dirt cheap.
Yeah.
Like three quid for the Wolfman and things like that. They were selling like hotcakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chelmsford didn't have any. It was really annoying.
Yeah, it was very hit and miss on what HMVs had them on sale. And but I've got a feeling the next big thing that might drop in like B&M and places like that, I've got a thing it's going to be like, you know, like your Hasbro Power Rangers, because they just seem to shelf warm for years.
Yeah,
my Smiths have still got like first wave of like the turbo ones or whatever it was, the SPD or something, like these random spacey looking ones. They've been there from day one and they've never sold.
I think the Beast Wars re-releases might go there as well, because they don't seem to sell well. I got a Rat Trap for £7 from Smiths, which is I only want. Well, the things I wanted that because that was a childhood favorite of mine, and my one's really beaten up. I thought I wanted the nostalgic thing of having it in the exact same packaging and stuff like that. There's a couple of tiny differences, but then it was like when it came out, it was like close to 18 quid or something for that, just the basic. And I was like, I'm not paying that. That's ridiculous. Like even, I mean, Transformers is such a weird thing for price. They either are good value for money or really bad value for money. There never seems to be a happy medium with Transformers. They either get it really right or really wrong. But the re-releases, when you go like, you've already got the molds, the packaging's the same, and nothing has really cost you anything. And the basic ones were like, they just they peg warmed, and then they went down and down and down. And then it was like I said, 7 quid. I was like, I would have been happy paying a tenner for it, but 7 quid I'll take one. But I'm not gonna pay like 18 quid for it.
I'll tell you, if the Power Rangers did show up, I think I could get back into that line.
That's the thing. I don't think you'll ever see MMPR because they sell. Yeah. They always sell. It's like it's the other ones that they've done that kind of like aren't as
Lightspeed
popular.
Rescue and Turbo,
SPD, and they're cool to look at, but unless you're a die-hard Rangers fan, you're not picking them up. Most people got into that line for the Mighty Morphin.
Yeah, definitely.
And you can tell that by the way they're doing the Zords, you know, the 7-inch Zords they're now releasing in the little cassette boxes. You can tell that they're literally doing all of the MMPR ones. I've noticed, like, straight away they've done the main Megazord, then they've done the Tiger Zord, the Dragon Zord. They've done literally all of the MMPR ones in a line.
Yeah.
And a couple of other ones. So
they'll probably go to Zeo next, because Zeo was probably the next most popular, because it was the people stayed on a little bit from MMPR to Zeo, and then with the Turbo happened. We don't talk about Turbo.
We don't talk about Turbo.
No.
I did finally get my hands on one of these Wolverine box sets. I finally did get one.
Mastermind.
It's one of those ones that I've been wanting for ages, and it's been in my basket for like a year almost. And I was just like, you know what, it's one I wanted. So I'm actually really excited about it as well, because I didn't get it at the time of release, and it's something that no one's really talking about now. I'm really excited to get into it and have a look. But yeah, apart from that, it's a really quiet week. There's not a huge amount dropping.
I think someone's going to drop. Someone's going to drop very soon, because we've got Celebration coming up. May the 4th is coming up, and the Kenobi release. It's a hot time for Star Wars. I'm sure we're going to get plenty of stuff to chew on over the next few weeks.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that the Star Wars element is going to be really big, and I do think, like I said, my prediction is that we're going to get a trailer for Thor: Love and Thunder. We're going to get a fan first Monday or whatever from Marvel Legends Hasbro team, or they will just drop them and it will just be an email from Hasbro Pulse, now available.
The next fan first though is a crossover. It's a dual something they called it. It's between the G.I. Joe team and the Transformers team, I think it was.
Yeah.
Let me double check. But yeah, there was going to be two for in the next one, which I thought was random. So everyone's saying, I wonder if it's going to be a crossover.
Well, there is a crossover Megatron tank they've done in the Transformers crossover line.
Oh, Power Rangers. Announced... Sorry, it's Power Rangers and Transformers. Fan first Tuesday, April the 12th. So Tuesday.
Interesting. Yeah. That'd be quite cool. Speaking of crossovers, though, I did get. I've only got the box in here, but I did finally get the Top Gun crossover transfer. I got the Top Gun one. I've got the not the Power Rangers. You said Power Rangers now. Jurassic Park one. Back to the Future, Ghostbusters. I'm missing the Dracula one still, and I've got the X-Men one actually. I got that for really cheap, because that's just not sold, because it was like 80 odd quid. So that I got that one heavily discounted, and then Jurassic Park was like 110 quid or something when it came out.
That was ridiculous.
I was like, and I'm not paying that, and then I got that for really cheap as well, discounted on another. I'm just always patient with those. Always patient.
Yeah.
Paid off.
Yeah. No, I think there's definitely a lot coming.
The only thing that I kind of found this week was I showed you guys in a chat, but I started showing again, is using Rey's cloak with the new Mandalorian version of Ahsoka, and it does fit her really well. It looks really good on her.
I'm surprised they didn't package a cloak in with her. I'm not gonna lie.
TVC did that thing, didn't they, where they released the figure like they've done with Black Series, just normal. Then they've repackaged it with Grogu and a cloak and called it a deluxe version. So
now with a new
so what I'm saying is, I've already beaten them to it, but I'm pretty sure they're going to release that exact thing and just shove a baby Grogu in with it and deluxe Ahsoka.
Yeah,
you know
probably.
It's coming. Ahsoka always sells anyway.
Yeah.
And I suppose the last real thing to talk about this week is Lego Star Wars.
Yeah.
Lego Star Wars.
Can we talk about the stupid controversy first? Please, quick
What's the stupid controversy?
Oh, we're not heard the stupid controversy.
No.
We're not seeing any of the stupid fan sites this week. So, obviously, we all know Revenge of the Sith. Apparently, Lego changed Anakin's path to the dark side because you can't kill younglings. Well, no shizzle. Like they were going to allow you to genuinely go around murdering little children in a game.
Hang on. So there are Star Wars fans out there that wanted to play the Lego game, and wanted to
wanted the story
down children.
They wanted the accurate storyline, because apparently in true Lego form, you go into the room full of children and he waves at them, and you don't really get the murdery bit, which is fine. It's a Lego game. You never were going to get the murdery bit. It's Lego. Even if it did, it would probably turn into flowers or something stupid.
All the deaths are like Lego-fied in it.
Yeah.
There was loads of websites saying...
I'll be back I'll be able to hear you, but I'm going to...
Yeah. There were loads of websites saying that Lego had ruined the storyline and they'd changed Anakin's destiny in the video game. And it's like, behave yourself. It's insane. A Lego game.
But Lego do change them. Like, they change a lot of the storylines to kind of make them comical in the Lego way. Do you know what I mean? It's the Harry Potter ones, the Indiana Jones one. Like, there was so much changed about the story, but only subtly to make it Lego-fied. Like,
In the new one, they've even managed to make Jar Jar Binks even more annoying.
Oh, really? But they've also made like C-3PO run. Like,
yes,
come on,
you can make C-3PO run, which is hilarious.
Did anyone complain about that? Because he does not run in any of the movies, and he's in a lot of the films. He's in a lot of the property. Never have I seen him run, but I'm a little bit disappointed that that's even a thing that they're just.
I know.
Like,
I was
wrong,
like,
it would be fun to like run around hacking people and stuff, but you got to draw a line. Like, come on, you got to draw a line.
Yeah.
But it's
the game. Sorry, go on.
I haven't played it. Have you? You've played it though, yeah?
Yeah, I'm about 80% of the way through now. I've been binge playing it.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really good. So basically, you start the game, and there's an open world element to this one, so you can free roam quite a lot and travel to different galaxies and do all the different planets, and like you basically like help like villagers or local people, and then they unlock things like you can go to the Jedi Temple and do missions for Yaddle and kill a crate dragon and things like that. And that's how you unlock other characters that aren't in the storylines.
Yes, we mentioned Yaddle.
The game itself starts with you can either play Phantom Menace, A New Hope, or Force Awakens. You have to start at one of the starting points and then unlock the others as you go.
Right. I'm going chronological. What did you do? I've started.
I went New Hope. I started New Hope. I've done. I went 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9 is my plan. Release order.
Interesting.
I'm going for story order. So I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. But yeah,
that controversy.
Really
I did hear it, by the way. It's absolutely
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's what I mean about Star Wars fans. You just.
The thing is, I could even understand it a little bit more if it was like a like the Force Awakens kind of the Force Awakens kind of like graphics and stuff, but a Lego game like it's
crazy, isn't it? It's just mental. But yeah, the game itself is really good. I've been really enjoying it. I think it's a big improvement on the last game we got. None of the levels are the same or even remotely similar. You get to do so many like cool levels on this one. It's so good. Being Luke Skywalker and blowing up the Death Star is definitely a highlight.
That's awesome.
You get to be in the little X-wing and fire the missile down the little thing and
I found the controls nice, but I tell you what's one of the things that I think is really
nice. Flying controls.
Yeah. But one of the things I think is really lovely about this game is the accessibility features on it. So you can change those things, and it's really genuinely a game that is it has been designed with so much care to be as accessible and playable by as many people in the world as possible. Like it has just got the amount of options for things like with the quick time features. If you're not able to do the quick time features, with your button mashing and all that stuff, it's got options to be able to do that automatically. You've got the subtitles in different sizes, the sound changes you can make, the rumble effects. Everything about it has been designed so that you can access it for anyone playing it. And I think it really speaks as like the Lego brand. Obviously, the whole thing about the Lego brand is that make it as inclusive as possible, and they really have upped it on this one. I don't know if you've noticed those options, Ash, like when you've been playing it.
Yeah, so like I played it with my little girl, and she obviously in most Lego games she gets annoyed at because she can't progress because she loses the studs because she falls off the cliffs or she loses the characters. So on this one you can kind of turn off that no fall damage and don't lose studs. So basically she can just play the whole game, you're button mashing her way through it. And not really have to have a care in the world about if she dies or not. She just keeps going until she completes the level, and that's a lot better for like someone like her who's obviously only 6 and she's just learning to play video games. That's a perfect like starting point.
That's really cool. I'm gonna have to pick it up. We love our Lego games. Like they're just fun. They're just fun games.
It is a very good game if you're going to sit and play it with young ones as well. Like I've really enjoyed like having a game that I can sit and play Star Wars with Paige, like my little girl. I like sitting and playing that for hours with her, and she can be any character she wants and just go around free running around and stuff like that. That's quite fun.
Have you done all the unlock codes?
Yeah, I've done all the unlock codes.
Yeah, so good.
To get like the holiday C-3PO and
yeah.
Yeah, I got all of them as soon as I came out, like codes.
The Razor Crest.
Amazing.
And the Emperor's
Amazing.
available as well. Why am I an unlock code? I should have been available from the start of the main character, damn it.
That is cool. That is cool. Anything else before we round up this week? Anything else major come out? I think we covered quite a bit. We covered quite a bit, haven't we? Cool. All right. Well, listen. Let's round it up there then. It's been an action-packed episode with lots of reveals and reviews and all sorts of stuff. So yeah. So if you are still watching, then please do like, share, subscribe, and all of those things. Do check out the description below for the gents' details and give them a follow if you don't already do so. Check out the Geek Week in Review on Instagram and Facebook. And if you're one of our podcast listeners, then please do continue to download and share because we do love the podcast listeners. Anything else from you, gents, before we sign off?
That was all.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
If you're listening.
So we have a nice day. We are rapidly approaching our 1 year anniversary, which is very exciting. So do stay tuned for things coming up, and we'll slowly announce things that are gonna do for our 1 year anniversary as we get closer and we get things confirmed. But yeah,
Candlelit dinner,
candlelit dinner, yeah. All those things. A trip to the Barbados. No, I'm only joking. We're not giving any trips away. There is no giveaway to Barbados. So that's about everything. Thank you very much for watching as always. So until next time, keep it geek.
The Geek Week in Review.